So today is toolbox number 5. It's the competency standards requirements for registration as a professional engineering technologist. My name is Chris Maynard. I'm a professional technologist, technician, and an honorary fellow for IPET, the Institute of Professional Engineering Technologists, which are bringing this to you for free. I'm a member of SAT, which is the Society of Asphalt Technology, and also a member of SAICI, South African Institute of Civil Engineers. I'm also assessor, moderator, interviewer, and what this is for IPET, the Institute of Engineering Technologists, and that is our website, so you can go there. Okay, we got the disclaimer. You guys can read it through there, those that haven't read it, but we also got it at the end, so we can leave it on the end while we do discussions. Okay, next slide, Johan. Okay, introduction. Today we're discussing the competency standards required for ECSA registration. So what we're going to do is, first is, what document do I use for competency standards? What are the competency standards for a technologist? Where do I find the summarized competency standards? Then it's a competency standards and conclusion and the references. Okay, next slide. Okay, what documents do I use for competency standard? Now, the document you use, it's in that engineering website. It's an Engineering Council of South Africa's policy document. The ECSA's one, it's R02, STA, PEPT, PCE, PN, which is called the Competency Standard for Registration in Professional Engineering Technologies, PEPT, PCE, PN, revision 1 and 20th of August. PE stands for Professional Engineer, PT is Professional Technologist, PCE is Professional Certificate Engineer, and PN is a Professional Technician. Okay, from now on, I'll refer to this as R02. Now, the website link is that one there, but it's basically, you go to the ECSA website, you go to the folder of documents, and then you move down to item 3.3.2, new registration for professional engineering technologists. Okay, next slide. Now on this slide, it shows exactly what is on the website. You've got your application form, then you've got the R02 policy, that's a policy of registration professional categories, R02 STA, which is your Bible, as I call it. On your competency standard, R03 is a process of applications for registration. You guys must read this one. It will give you more indication on how we go about it. Then R04 is your training and mentoring guide. You ask your mentor to read that and ensure that they understand when they're mentoring you. Then R02 PT is a new one they brought back. It's a guide to competency standards for registration. You can read this in conjunction with R02. Now, R17 PRO, that is for foreign educational, foreign qualifications where ECSA will evaluate it and tell you in which category you fall under. Then the last one is your Professional Engineering Technologist Guide to the completion of registration application form. So when you're applying or filling your application form, go take that one and use it as a guide. It's very well written. Okay, next slide, Johan. Okay, what are the competency standards for technologists? Technologists must comply with standards that's set out below. First one, you must be able to demonstrate within your broadly defined engineering activity to the following. So you must be able to integrate the performance of the defined outcome. So you've got 11 outcomes, so you must be able to integrate your performance. Must be able to operate at the required level. Now, the required level is a degree of competency is A, B, C, D, and E. So you must ensure you operate to the required level of competency within the field of your knowledge and training. So if your mentor says, no, but you won't get into that group because you haven't got that qualification. If you've been trained to do water, don't go and try and do structures. Stay in your field of competency. Okay. Where do I find the summarized competency standards? You will find it in your document R02, page 22, under table 6. Now, competency standards consist of 11 outcomes. You must demonstrate competency in all 11 outcomes. So make sure you do that. That doesn't help you got 10, but one you do not, you will not get registered. You have to do all 11 outcomes. Okay, the outcomes are covered in 5 groups. Okay. Now, group A is your engineering problem solving. So what does it mean? What are the outcomes are applicable? It's how you solve a problem, how you design it. So outcome 1 says define, investigate, and analyze a broadly defined engineering problem. So that's your first step you have to understand. Outcome 2 is define, develop a solution for broadly defined engineering problems. Then your outcome 3, your comprehend and apply knowledge, principles, specialist knowledge, jurisdictional and local knowledge. So these 3 are integrated into each other. So when you do your engineering report, make sure outcome 1, 2, and 3 have the same period that you have to discuss, and only use one period. Okay, group A, engineering solving, it's continuing the requirement. It is based on your theoretical knowledge and your practical experience, as well as your ability to solve a broadly defined engineering problems. It can be for technicians, it will be a well-defined engineering problems for an engineer. It will be a complex defined engineering problems. So it's basically your knowledge that you've picked up through your academic training, and then your practical, what you've picked up while you were working. You have to combine the two. Next slide. Group B, managing engineering activity. Now, what outcomes are applicable? Outcome 4, manage part or all of more of your broadly defined engineering activities. And outcome 5 is communicate clearly with others in the course of your engineering activity. So basically, you must be able to demonstrate technical leadership, which is engineering project management with good interpersonal skills. How do you present your work to your colleagues? How do you put your instructions out? Now, group C is risk and impact mitigation. What are the outcomes are applicable? It's outcome 6, recognize and address the reasonably foreseeable social, cultural, and environmental effects of your broadly defined engineering activity. Outcome 7, you meet all your legal and regulatory requirements and protect the health and safety of persons in the course of your broadly defined engineering activity. So anything you design, you take in recognition of the people and the environment. So the requirement here, you must be able to demonstrate your recognition of an obligation to society, the profession, and the environment, as well as your commitment to abide by the professional code of conduct. So that is where the legal and the regulatory requirements also come into. Next one. Group D, act ethically, exercise judgment, and take responsibility. Now your requirement, what you have to do there. Now they are outcome 8, conduct engineering activities ethically. So this is where you say you confirm, and you must be able to answer the code of conduct for a registered person, which is found on ECSA's website. Now, outcome 9, exercise judgment in the course of your broadly defined engineering activity. So remember, 1, 2, 3, 9, and 10 are interlinked. So how did you take your, this is decision making. Now, outcome 10, be responsible for making decisions on part or broadly defined engineering. So the decision you take in 9, you must show you are responsible for that decision. Okay, the next slide, Jan. So the requirements that we spoke there, you must be able to demonstrate your ethical behavior and professional ethics, responsibilities and norms for the engineering practice within the requirements of a broadly defined engineering activity. So what you do and your decisions you make, you must be able to give reasons why you did that. Next slide. Now, outcome E is initial professional development. This outcome, there's only one that is applicable. So it's outcome 11. It's undertake professional development activities sufficient to maintain and extend his or her competency. Now, here you must be able to demonstrate your commitment of continuous lifelong learning. The reason why we do that, because technology has changed. It's not like 100, 200 years ago, it stayed the same and it went very slow. Things changed. Now we're doing that. Now, conclusion. Today, we discussed the competency standards requirements for registration as a professional engineering technologist. What documents do we use for competency standards? What are the competency standards for a technologist? And where do I find the summarized competency standards? And then the competency standards. That's what we discussed today. Okay, next slide. Now, my references, what I say is RO2, STA, PE, PT, PCE, PN. But that's what I used. Is based on this reference. And it's presented by IPET, Institute of Professional Engineering Technologists, at www.ipet.org.za. So you can go to that website there. And this is the document that you have to download and study it. That's on ECSA's website. Next slide, Johan. Okay. This is now a conclusion. Any questions? And my next presentation will be a discussion on Group A. For previous presentations, go to the http:// it's professionalcpd.co.za. Now you must register on that, but you can look at all the talks I've done there for free. So join IPET job or registration for advice groups. There's the SMS, your name. Please put your name. Don't just send your number, and also say which groups you want to join. And that is the number is 073 336 2471. You will be put on the group, but remember, it does not get put on within instantly. Sometimes it does, but it gives us at least 24 hours because it's been run by Jan up to 48 hours because he is also doing others, but be patient with us. Thank you. Next slide is the disclaimer. Please read this. We cannot guarantee, but we can try and help you to become registered. So you can read the disclaimer and we'll give some time. Thank you. Okay, so we've got 23. Any questions? You got your hand up, Johan. Oh, no, it's my little arrow is changed into a hand on your name.
If anybody has a question, please unmute yourself and ask your question. Don't be shy. No question is, there's no stupid questions. The only stupid question is the one that you didn't ask. And don't worry if someone else has asked this question before, we'll repeat it.
Afternoon,
sure,
Dr.
There's Lwazi.
Yes, Lwazi, you can unmute yourself.
Thanks, Chris. I just wanted to find out something. There was something you were saying in terms of outcome 11. No, 10, 9, and 1. You said they were interlinked, and then you also said...
Okay. Can I just correct you there? It's outcome 1, 2, 3, 9, and 10. Okay. Nawazi, come in. It looks like you got a problem with your connection. Can you hear me, Nawazi?
Sorry, Chris, I got lost there.
Yeah, no, I say outcomes 1, 2, 3, 9, and 10 are interlinked.
Okay.
They don't say, because basically what happens is you are now, you're taking one period. So if you do your investigation on outcome 1, you do your design. 3, you're busy with your discussing which subjects you had used and how you carried on. Then 9, you take your decision, what you've done in 1 and 2 and 3. And 10 is your reasoning why you took that decision. So remember that. Does it make sense to you, Lawazi?
Okay, so it means basically, if I'm understanding it right, is that if I choose a particular project that I've done, then it means with 1, 2, 3, 9, 10, it has to stick with that particular project. It mustn't be whereby I've chosen a project at 1, then at 9, I'm speaking about another project, and then at 10, I'm speaking. So if I'm understanding it right, is that whatever project that I've decided to go up with at 1, I need to be able to define in broader detail up until 1, 2, 3, and 9 and 10, if I'm understanding it right.
Why I say that, it's easier for the applicants yourselves to be able to discuss, because you've done now the 3 outcomes on the one project on that period. Now you're going to go and look at another period and you're going to discuss number 9. And then you're going to go another period, you're going to discuss number 10. And it's very difficult for you to have your mindset and change. Remember what I said, I don't know if you've been on the previous ones, your job is, the periods where you discuss your training and experience report. That one, you brag about what jobs are you doing. So you choose one of them. Your engineering report is to show. Your engineering report is your important document to show your competency of what you can do. So it's easier for you, and it's also easier for us as assessors to see, oh, okay, he's discussed these 3 outcomes. Now he's talking about his decision in 9 and his decision in 10. It might look like you're repeating some of the items, but it's easier for you to discuss that. Do you understand what I'm saying, Lawazi?
Yeah, I understand. So basically, it's more to deal with when you come to the outcomes, you then going back to take what you have already spoke about previously when you are still describing this company's jobs. So when you come now to the outcome, you choose one which will basically in detail on what you have done, because they can always refer back to the other side. Okay.
Yeah, no, because, for instance, you have to talk about the social and those dynamics, but your job that you've done there, and you've taken that into account, through to 1, 2, 3, But you haven't discussed that. But when you come to 9 and 10, you discuss, you say, these are the items, these are the considerations I took into account. And this is the way it's working. And this is my reasoning why I did that. So does it make sense to you now?
Yeah.
Hopefully it's opened the light for you there.
Yeah, now I understand even more.
But they don't say this to you. You see what I'm saying is, if you look at your document, the people don't say that. It doesn't say that. But it's logical. It's 1, 2, 3, 9, and 10. That is your own, it's important. But then it's easier for you to do that than to sit there and then thinking about another job. And we don't know what the background was, but you've done 1, 2, and 3. Then it's easier for us to relate, and also for yourself when you're doing your presentation. Okay.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you.
It's a pleasure. Okay, any other questions from anybody else on the floor? Dr. Sina, I see you might have a question. How are you doing today?
Fine.
How are you this
I'm all
afternoon?
right. Yeah.
You're
I am
hopefully not in
fine.
Durban. You're not in Durban today.
No,
Huh?
no, I'm in German.
Are you in Durban?
No.
Okay. Because I'm around the corner from Durban. I'm working there now at the moment. And Jay, you always got some question. You got any questions today? How's your registration going on, Jay?
Good evening once again. My registration is going slowly but surely. With that outcome 9, I'm just trying to understand when you say you take the decision, and what have you considered? What have you taken into account? When you
If you look at 9, it says there, your social, social engineering and environment. So what did you take into consideration when you were designing that on outcome 1, 2, and 3? So those are the options. And then that influences your decision to make a decision there, and you're sustainable. And then number 10 is why did you take that decision, the reasons why you took it. So you point that out there.
Yes, I see now, yes.
Yeah, a lot of people don't see that, the interlink between, 1, 2, 3, 9, and 10.
Yeah, like in our consideration, our field, we will take the environment. Is there any plantation, indigenous plants?
Yes, but what I'm saying is just, no, think about it nicely, eh? Engineering activity. Don't mix it up with the other environment. This is your environment, your working environment that you've taken into consideration.
Okay.
For instance, like if you're going to go and if you're doing cabling, where did you put it? What did you take into consideration?
Yes.
The engineering properties of there. You're not going to go and put up a 40 kV high 40 kV overhead cable over a suburb over his houses within 1 meter from their roof. Am I right?
Yes.
These are the things that you're going to take. That is what I'm talking about, environment.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the socially will probably include the protection of your equipment, if people not getting injured.
Yes, these are the things what you've taken into consideration, the social aspects of it.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
I got it. Yeah. Thanks.
Okay. I see there's a hand up, Johan. You can come in. It's Luyola. Yoyola. Come in.
Yes, hello, Johan. Hello, Chris. It's Luyolo. Okay.
Luyola. Okay. Sorry about that. I'm battling sometimes.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a tongue twister. That's why.
Yeah.
Yes.
So don't worry, you battle with my name too, so it's fine.
No,
We have to learn to all these things. We've got 11 official languages to learn. I think it's a bit of a problem for us all.
Yes. My question is on the periods. Let's say if you are designing and then you put that as your period, and then there's a gap maybe of 2 or 3 years before you go to contract administration. How do you put that? Do you have 2 separate periods for that project, or do you combine?
Okay, all right. So you say you do designing and then all of a sudden you go over to contract administration. Remember, what does that document say there, if I remember right, is on your periods when your responsibilities change, that you're in that your period, that previous one ends and you start a new period.
Okay.
Okay, does it make sense to you now?
Yes, it does.
And also, if you've got a lot of periods, you sometimes what happens is you're doing a project and then the people come and say, no, but you're doing this project, just do this other project. So you got overlapping. So what you do is to solve that. You choose the one that is the most prominent one that you can do that will cover your 11 outcomes. Okay.
Okay. So there's no problem if there's a gap between your periods.
No, if you've got a gap, it's due to, economic constraints, or it could be due to work conditions and things like that happen. You just say this period I didn't work because of, in your summary, you say you were unemployed, for instance. That's fine.
Okay.
But your overall, in the summary, your overall must come to the minimum period that you need. Like if you've got your BTech, you have to have 3 years experience, post-graduation experience. Post-experience, plus then you have to have 1 year of the 3 years at the level of responsibility E. So just make sure that there. Okay.
Yes. No, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Please, guys, don't be shy. You've got a free service unless you go and pay for the other guys that ask more.
There's Jay coming back.
Yes, Jay, come in.
Just something interesting that I've got regarding my past experience. I've been working for a cable test section for I was acting for 5 years as a technician.
Yeah.
And I actually had to run the section where I had to delegate work. And then we have to find cable faults. Sometimes the faults are but tricky, and you got to use some techniques and skills and even computer screens and equipment to find these cable faults. Now, I was wondering if this 5 years could it be included in your level 5 or even part of it in your level E responsibility?
Yes, it depends on, you didn't have somebody looking over your shoulder. You were doing it as if you were professionally registered. Am I right?
That's correct, yeah. Nobody looked over.
Yes, you can do it. But now, just one thing I want to ask you there. Although you were working as a technician, just make sure that you were working at the level of a broadly defined engineering activity.
Yes, that is just part of my experience. I have been for almost 3 years at Stellenbosch Municipality working as a head there of operations.
Okay, well, what I'm saying is just be careful. I know you've been working in senior positions, but make sure that what you are doing does, for instance, like designing. Now you say, yes, I'm a head, I don't do designing, but you look at designs, you look at fault problems, you look at techniques and that, and you make suggestions, or you do change the technique to adapt to what you need. So what I'm saying is look at that. Look at the broadly defined engineering activity. What happens many times, people get appointed as technicians, but they're already working at a broadly defined engineering activity where they're actually working as technologists. So take that into consideration.
Yes. I've also worked with Adrian. He actually, through the years, he's been guiding me on design work for a broadly defined and it's a huge area that I'm busy with, but it's just a simulation project. It's not an actual project because I don't work in I don't work in that department. So he's created an opportunity to simulate the project.
Okay, that's fine. That you can discuss that too and say your simulation, but this is what the responsibilities, these are the things. But now you're in a senior position, am I right?
No, I'm not in a senior position.
Or in a managerial position that you are now in?
No,
or where you worked previously?
I've actually moved now away from that acting, and I went back to the artisan level that I am.
Okay, but you were acting. Now listen nicely. Just give me a chance. You were acting and you were in a senior position, in a managerial position. The people came with designs to you and you looked at it and you said, no, but it's not right. We change this and this, and these are the options. That falls under designing too.
Okay.
Because you say they come up with a cable design there to say this is the size of cables. You do your calculations and you say, and you looked at various options of different types of cable, different sizes, and you say, no, this is the size you reckon it is, and you explain to the people that gave you the original design. That is also designing.
Okay, but it does with the acting technician, it only included the cable fault finding of things.
Okay, but that you also had to sort that out to find it. So that's what I'm saying is go and look at the document and then you decide. Are you on the broadly defined engineering activity or are you just below that? And then you push yourself up to that height there again. Okay.
Yes. Now with the other job that I had was people came with a problem, a low voltage problem. So now I had to solve that problem by looking at different solutions, how to get the proper voltage to them. And this would include looking at drawings and finding a solution, but it also includes installing equipment, major equipment, as well as upgrading an area to
so what I'm saying is I know what you're saying there, huh? But as I said, go back to R02 and look at the definition, and then you decide and you ask these questions to yourself, as what they say in, I think it is in table 3 on R02. That will tell you, then you say, yes, I am, tick, 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 and you know you're on the right path there too. It doesn't help to talk to me about electrical, the thing. I think me and Jan, we can be very good electrical engineers. We'll make such nice fireworks, it will be unbelievable.
What I know about electrical is shocking.
Yeah, but I think we might do it better than ESCOM, to be honest. But you understand, right? I'm guiding you to say, go and look at your document, because I can't tell you if your fault finding is on the standard or that, because I'm endangered when it comes to electricity.
Yes, I see. Yeah.
It's the same if you come and try and do stormwater management and that. I think it will be a bit of a problem.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah.
For you. So it's out of my field, but what I'm saying is if Adrian's helping you, that's a good thing too. Because I know he finds me quite regularly to find out answers.
Yes, thanks, man.
Okay, that's a pleasure. Anybody else with questions? Don't be shy, please. You guys must ask questions. It will help you there. And there's no stupid question, because the person who doesn't answer the question, you might ask a question that might help them also. So we're here to help out. I just want to know from some of you people that are here, who's going to do applications now? Come in, see this Masamola family. Have you got a question?
Yeah, I have a question.
Introduce yourself, and then I can introduce yourself.
Yeah, it's Jerry, no? Masamola.
Okay,
yeah,
Jerry.
I have a question. Yeah, I'm working in a design office, ne? As a designer. So, but the thing is, we deal more about with reverse engineering, and also with the components which already exist. You see, like we just edit whatever is we refine what we already have. But the thing is, we have a research and development department which give us the job to do.
Okay.
We don't do the research ourselves. There are engineers who do the research for us, and then they do the request to us to design whatever what we need. So I just wanted to approach that thing. I was checking all these outcomes, but I'm actually maybe at the end whereby I must only do the drawings. I don't do the calculations and all this. So I just wanted to know, how can I approach the whole thing? Or must I
Can I
do
want
research
to ask
and
you
development?
one thing?
Yes.
What qualification do you have? A BTech?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Which field are we talking about that you're in?
It's mechanical. I'm doing a mechanical design.
Okay, mechanical. Okay, now we're fine now.
Yeah.
All right. So you already got the background. So what you're doing is piping or you're doing air conducting.
No, I'm working.
What type
No,
of mechanical?
it's train components. Yeah.
Oh, train components.
Yeah, I'm working. Yeah.
I'm going to ask our our railway expert, Mr. Jan de Koker, to quickly answer. He will tell you. He knows how to go about this.
Okay.
So, Masamola, I didn't get that clearly. You said these guys do the research, but you do the design?
Yes, like they gave you the request. They just come with a request to say you need to design this, and then they come up with maybe a sketch, and then of which they already did the calculations and everything. So you only need to do the drawings for them. It's like you become a draftsman for them. You don't become a designer as a whole, you see. So
okay, but you look at the drawings that the guys give you to do, and the designs that the guys give you to do. Now you see something there that's that you question. You think, but this is not going to work.
Yes, that's what I do.
From your experience, that is not going to work. Surely you go back to these guys, say, hey, how did you get there? I think so and so and so and so. So in other words, you question them, and you look over the design, and also you check you make sure that the quantities and the calculations are correct. You can see if a calculation is not correct. So if you can prove to them that their design is not 100%, then you're not only the draftsman, then you actually review the design. And if you review the design, that puts you on a different level than when you are just accepting everything that the guys give you. Say, okay, well, yeah, they say I must do that, I do that, like the donkey work, But if you apply your mind, that is what you need to prove, is that you apply your mind in the work that these guys give you, and you can show up where they are wrong. Then you are working at a level where you actually can prove that the design, that you are actually complying the outcomes for the design.
I was looking there, but we have outcome 1, 2, 3, 9, and 10. Of which most of these projects, when I'm busy with them, I'm trying to can maybe be relevant on that. That's why I'm trying to check maybe if I can have one which can cover all these 4 outcomes which we have. But sometimes it becomes difficult for me to can get all those 4 outcomes in one project like that one, you see. So
okay, can I come in there quickly? Let me explain. Just Matsi, can you just put off your audio, please? Masengo, can you put off your audio?
Oh, sorry.
And Matsi also, please. Okay, Jerry, what is Jerry? Am I right? Hey?
yes.
Okay, what you do there is, like my colleague Johan de Koker said, there is, if you've got a design that is given to you and you see it in front of your eyes, you have to now draw it. They're using you as a so-called draftsperson, but you have to design also. And you see that design is not correct.
Yes.
And because of the training you've got, you see it's not correct. You go and do your own calculations.
Yes.
And then you also, you might look at 3 different options. Because you never get your first design is correct. Am I right?
Yes.
You never hit the jackpot. Because what you do is you do your first design and then you say to your mind, inside your mind, what if I change this? What will happen? What if? Am I right?
Yes.
So you're doing a few multiple designs. So you just discuss these 3 in outcome 2. And then you choose one design to say this design I choose because due to external factors. It could be monetary, it could be durability, it could be, it's easy to manufacture. Now you've gone down. Now, outcome 3, with that same design, that you go to the guys and say, this is what I think is best. Now you're going to tell us there in outcome 3, what knowledge that you use, what BTech knowledge and what is your work experience. Right?
Yes.
Now we're coming to outcome 9. Now you say you can't interlink, but you can. Because if you read there, it's your social, that is your environment, and that, as I explained previously, is what decision did you use? What factors of those that influence you? Like social, it could be because the material is not easily obtainable. You could get it from different companies, or you get it in South Africa, for instance, your steel that you're using for the components. Your environment is there. When you get that steel or whatever that component, does it influence your environment, your working environment that you're going to work in there? Is it easily to work with or whatever? Now, whatever you decided in outcome 9, outcome 10, you discuss the reason why you took that decision. You take ownership of your design and of your decision. Remember that. So does that make sense to you now?
Yes, it's very clear now. I think that's what I've been applying in most of the design, but I wasn't aware of all the outcomes, the way you explained them. Yeah.
Because those 5 are the most, they're important. They're one of the important ones. But nobody tells you outcome 1, 2, 3, 9, and 10 are interlinked. Because you come to 1, 2, and 3, that's fine, I can sort it. But 9 and 10, you go and do other projects. But it's very difficult for you to explain why you said 9 and 10, because we don't know the background. But if we know it's 1, 2, and 3, and you're talking about the same period of what you discussed in 1, 2, and 3, it's so easy to run through it. It's easy for you to go through. Now, the other outcomes there, you can use different periods. It's no problem. But this is a little secret I tell everybody. And the people that have followed it, they've been successful in their registration. I'm not guaranteeing it, because it depends on how you present yourself at the interview. Then please, I'm going to say it again, and I've said it many times also, and I said it a few times today also, and most probably also here. Remember your TER, your training and experience report. Okay? That is your brag wall. There you tell everybody what you've done. But when it comes to your engineering report, you don't brag there about all the different jobs in outcome 1, outcome 2. You choose one period for 1, 2, 3, 9, and 10 to say, listen here, I can do that job. This is my competency level. Because if somebody comes to your office, you got all your certificates and diplomas and degrees behind you. That's your brag wall. That's what I say, the TER. Then your engineering report says, the guy comes to you or the person comes to you and says, but this is a job I want to do. Are you going to tell him, look at all my certificates I want to tell you? No, you tell him I can do this. This is what I'm going to do. To convince him to give you the work. Okay. Let's put very simplistically, but I think you understand now, Jerry.
Yes. The other question was about the TER. When it comes to TER, the evidence. So do we, because I was looking at the TER, it allows you to write maybe a certain number of weights. But how do you put the evidence? Do we put the evidence on TER? Like maybe if it's a request form, like now I can have a request.
No. Let me tell you on your TER is an essay. Remember.
Okay.
It's an essay. It's short and sweet, to the point.
Okay.
And remember, you don't have to give evidence because your supervisor will sign that TER to say, yes, this is what you've done. This is what you've done. Because they will sign it off. At the back, you got, for your annexures, you can put in examples. But you don't have to put in the whole project. I've had guys that they've actually handed in me 10 reports on different periods that you don't. You just show an example. Like you show an example of a site instruction. You show an example of one of your designs. That is evidence. Okay.
No, thank you.
Remember, we that do the assessments or the interviews and the reviews, we do it at our free time. We do it voluntary. ECSA does give us a stipends. Now, a stipends doesn't mean you're getting paid full salary. So it's a stipends, but we do it because we want to get the industry people into the fraternity that are competent. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
It's a pleasure. Okay, any further questions from anybody else? Dr. Sino, are you quiet today?
No, I am fine. I am all right here. Only a bit tired. Lot of hectic work, this and that.
And your wife, is she better now?
Yeah, she's better. Yeah.
That's good. That's good. Are you applying some of the stuff I tell the people to your students nowadays too? Dr. Sina?
Yeah.
Have any of your applicants or those people, have they become registered on your side, if I may ask?
Yeah, number of people, yeah. Because I'm conducting very regularly interview PRN. Number of people have been registered, yeah. But we ask very tough questions during PR review.
Yeah.
Yeah. Before approving their candidature. Yeah. Maybe sometime we can tell them which type of questions normally we ask. Generic questions.
Yeah, I never tell about generic questions because what I do is when I'm interviewing the people, I actually take it on what the applicant talks about, and then we ask them on that field. Because,
Yeah.
you know, I find that a lot of people are now, some of the applicants that do not make it, they say, but they were asked questions that's not in their field. But then you ask them to explain what is their field and what was the question. Then you find out it's actually they went into a field where they said they are competent, which they are not competent. They didn't go into the original field. I think you've picked that up a few times too, Dr. Sina.
Like, for example, sometimes we ask, what is the ECSA main role? This type of questions. You know, though it's not exactly outcome, what is the ECSA main role? Why do you want to register? What is occupational health and safety? Tell us environmental law. Suppose if people die at the site, to whom are you going to interview first? To report
but those
first?
are normal, that is general questions normal, that they should know. Normal, they should know.
Yeah.
Because many times I ask the question, you know, about ethics. Then everybody will talk to you about bribery and corruption. And then ask them, have you ever read the Code of Conduct for Registered Persons? Yes, we've read it. And then I ask them something out of that, because, you know, Section 3 is very well written. So I ask them any of those questions, they don't know what I'm talking about. You know, because, you know, everybody thinks you're going to ask about corruption and bribery. No, we got a lot of ethics that we have to be able to, you know, understand.
And maybe, Chris, just I wanted to suggest, many BTech graduates, they are applying now for PR technician because they haven't done broadly defined projects. So many of them, they are applying for PR technician, and it's not bad. They apply within 3 years of the graduation. So maybe sometime you can convey them about the well-defined, though so many things are matching, but how to register as a PR technician. Maybe in your future presentation, you can consider PR technician also.
Yeah, no, I'll do that. I did do a talk on that last year by SAICI. On SAICI, between a technician and a technologist over there. There is a distinct change there. Another thing too is a lot of people don't understand what is broadly defined and what is well defined. But the RO2 does discuss it quite nicely. The people must be honest with themselves and see where they fall in which grouping they fall in. You know, it's not everybody that is now got a BTech, they're going to be a technologist. Sometimes, as you correctly said, they see they're operating as a technician and they can actually upgrade their system if they want to, by talking to the employers and say, I would like to take on more responsibility to become like broadly defined engineering activity. Because a lot of the employers also do not understand the differences between the two. Even mentors don't understand. I don't know if you picked that up, Dr. Sina. But there are a lot of technologists that are actually working on complex engineering problems, but we get told we're not allowed to.
And you know, mostly, if it's a good idea, if they have a mentor, because mostly engineering report, they do not write, you know, correctly, professionally. And their presentation, 15 minutes, is mostly based on their engineering report, which is also like TER. So if they have a mentor, it will help them. At least they should see their engineering report, how correctly they have written.
That's correct. What I discussed with ECSA the other day about the mentors, some mentors should not be mentors. We won't discuss that further. But I think there should be a course put out for mentors to understand what is required for mentoring in the different levels, you know, technician, technologist, and, you know, technician. Because some mentors I've seen they haven't brought the people up to the speed where they should go. But I will be discussing what is the requirements for a mentor in one of my toolbox talks like I did last year. Based on the ECSA document that the people understand. Because it's not the responsibility of the mentor alone, but it's also the responsibility of the candidate or the applicant to have the correct training.
You're right. Okay, Chris, thank you very much. Otherwise,
thanks a lot.
Going all right. Yeah, very well.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Dr. Sina. Anybody got any questions further? Anybody can come in and talk about what we discussed, me and Dr. Sina, to find out if you agree or not agree. Johan, if we've got no questions, then I think we can basically close down.
Yeah, I think we've had a good chat. It's the first time we've used this time slot, and we didn't have as many people as we usually have. But next time, do you want to also use this time slot, Chris, or do you want to go back to lunchtime?
Yes, it will be. No. This will be better because I am actually working on a site and we work right through, and we do get a lot of crises on the road that we have to sort out. But this is the best time. If I don't know if everybody understands.
A lot of people have actually asked. A lot of people have asked that we change to another time slot. So hopefully they will now be accommodated. And because people complain that their lunchtime is not long enough to listen to everything. But thank you everybody for participating and for being with us. We've given you all the information we can. You're welcome to ask to be put on the groups. I've got the special phone for that. I don't answer the damn thing. It rings in the middle of the night, so I don't answer that phone. Just send an SMS on this on that number, because I don't carry it with me, so it's usually locked away. And occasionally I will take it and add people to the groups. So you're most welcome. The groups are there for you, and you can ask questions on the groups, especially the registration group. You're welcome to ask your questions there. We also try and answer them there, and some of your colleagues also try and answer you there. Thank you, everybody. This was brought to you with the compliments of the Institute of Professional Engineering Technologists for your help, and have a good evening, and see you in 2 weeks' time. Thanks, Chris, for your contribution.
Okay, thanks a lot, everybody.